Are you ready to journey through the evolution of digital photo storage? And by that, I mean the days before iCloud, before iPhone. You remember that far back? Well, today we're going to go on a voyage from the beginning to where we are now, and also explore the future of image sharing in the age of AI. Because today I'm joined by Ted Leonard, the CEO of Photobucket, which is a platform that has been at the forefront of online photo management for more than 2 decades. Photobucket isn't just about storing images though, it's about preserving memories, empowering communities, and with over 14 billion images stored for 90 million users around the world, Photobucket stands as a custodian of personal and collective history. So in this episode, I want to uncover how Photobucket has adapted to the digital age. From the world of MySpace, to the arrival of the iPhone, to cloud storage, social media, etc., to their new exciting features, group buckets, and how they're navigating the latest AI trends. And ultimately, what does it take to remain relevant where in every second, countless images are created? Really looking forward to this one, so buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to the US, where Ted is waiting to join me today. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hi, Neil. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here to talk with you and all the listeners. My name is Ted Leonard, and I'm the CEO of Photobucket. Photobucket is the leading independent cloud storage solution for photos and videos. To put that into context, we have about 13 billion images, which encompasses both photos and videos on our platform, and 70 million users that have trusted us for over 20 years.
That's absolutely phenomenal. 13 billion images. And I was reading before you came on, it was something like 21-year-old legacy. And I remember using you back in the day when I had I think it was a very early website and I was embedding photos on there and stuff. It was my protocol for everything. But I've got to ask, I mean, that was me using it back in 2007 or so. But how has the company evolved during this time? And what kind of challenges have you had to adapt and what's shaped your journey? Because it's a long time. There's been a lot of changes in this industry, hasn't there?
Yeah, I'd say Photobucket's resilience over the last 2 decades is a major part of the company's legacy that few people really understand. So going back to your use case in 2007, let's go back to 2003. The company was founded by Alex Welsh and Darren Crystal, and Photobucket was the solution to content constraints specifically on MySpace, if you remember that social media. So specifically, Alex and Darren built a product that allowed MySpace users to showcase their unique selves without having to deal with sort of capacity constraints that was put on by MySpace. So really, this was the hosting solution that they had built. And as that evolved, like really the core of Photobucket from a service perspective and a solution for users, it was to publicly display their digital content on other websites. So it's not just MySpace, it's forums, it's blogs, it's e-commerce sites, and this is all through that hosting functionality. Cool fact that Photobucket was acquired in 2007 by News Corp for $300 million. So you're talking about a huge sort of rise to prominence, and then a major acquisition, which was subsequently divested a few years later when really MySpace wasn't a thing anymore. So when we fast forward to 2018, that's when I became the CEO. Photobucket was actually in a nosedive. It was in a really, really tough spot. And it was a free service that was barely supported by advertising revenue. So the team and I really had to make some major changes, and we had to do so really quickly. And I think at the highest level possible, we really had to flip from a capital-dependent IV drip technology company that's always going out and raising money to a cash flow positive business. And that was really kind of the high level sort of challenge that we had to do. So what did we do to kind of flip from a capital dependent company to a sustainable cash flow positive business? Number one, we pivoted the revenue model. So I mentioned that the company was supported by advertising revenue and it was a free service offering. So we pivoted the model from that free first model to a paid first subscription model. And I'm happy to say that that was a pretty successful pivot. And we've grown our subscriber base by 46% year over year from 2018 until 2024. We also shifted to what we call a preservation solution. So we talked about at its sort of infancy, Photobucket was a solution to publicly share digital images. And as we thought about what the future entails, we thought that putting a more robust storage solution on the market was the right decision. So as opposed to a hosting solution, we really wanted to put a storage first solution out there that focused on privacy, that focused on affordability, and was kind of a backup storage for photos and videos. And then number three, we had to clean up a significant amount of technical debt. And that meant migrating 13 billion images and 70 million accounts from an on-prem data center to the cloud, coincidingly deploying 4 new products. So those are all kind of like the big things we did. I would say the biggest challenge we've had to tackle is staying relevant in a landscape where 2 solutions are pre-installed on every single device. So we have to call out the gorilla in the room. How do we continue to be the and to Apple and Google and not the or? And that has been sort of our North Star guiding question over the course of the past 6 years, is make ourselves complementary to those pre-installed solutions and not make those pre-installed solutions a competitor.
And listening to the story and the evolution, it took me back. I was getting quite a few flashbacks. But you go back to 2003, 2005, if you had an online portfolio, wanted to showcase your identity, it was MySpace. This was a time before Facebook, before Instagram. And you guys were absolutely huge, weren't you, back then?
How amazing is it? Yeah. I mean, we were the pioneer. And, I think that the biggest thing and probably the most impressive thing is just, I go back to that word resiliency, right?
Yeah.
The resiliency over the past 2 decades to stay relevant in a space that's evolved, in a space that's changed. Just talking about our market itself for photos and videos, and then getting into kind of the evolution of the internet as a whole, right? So when we think back to 2003, 2004, 2005, everything was free. And we've seen this sort of migration from that free to now most things are paid, and everyone has 2 handfuls of subscriptions, if not more, right?
Yeah.
So we've been able to kind of stay at the forefront of all the evolution, from photos to videos to storage and the expense associated with storage, going from on-prem to the cloud, going from a free internet to a paid first internet. It's been a pretty amazing journey and really just an amazing story from the beginning to now. And there's a lot more. The story continues.
It really does. And, you've adapted and evolved to be relevant in a world of social media and cloud storage. But before you have time to pat yourself on the back there's got rapid advancements in AI now, particularly in an era of open AI and AI-generated images. So how are you at Photobucket adapting to these trends, and what role do you see AI playing in maybe enhancing your platform too?
Yeah, Neil, there is a lot to unpack with this question, because between now and literally when this podcast is over, in 30 minutes, there's going to be material advancements with AI. That is where we are with AI right now. So, I kind of break this up into 3 parts. First, let's talk about generative images. This is really easy for us. Like, we won't play in that space. We don't see ourselves as a generative image company by any means. We're not building our own models. Like, we are a memory preservation and sharing solution, and there's enough demand for us to thrive in this vertical. If you think about it, at no time in history has basically every single person walked around with a camera in their pocket like they do now. But the capturing of personal memories, the capturing of memories, like it's there. So there's enough demand for us to thrive in this vertical as a photo and video specific memory preservation and sharing site, right? In terms of AI enhancing the platform, there are a number of opportunities that we're exploring. So, kind of starting on what we already do, right? We already use AI for image tagging to create a better experience for our customers. As we think about the future, the biggest problem that AI can solve, from my perspective, is the digital memory mess every person has. So I don't take a lot of pictures, but I do, right? I think I have something like 12,000 pictures in my account. That's a digital memory mess. So how do we solve that? Simplified organization, automated organization, facial and object identification in combination with sorting and getting rid of duplicates. Those are just a few areas we believe AI will enhance the consumer experience. And we are not at this point seeing significant investment from other solutions in that area. So that's really kind of like one of the biggest areas that we believe will help improve the holistic customer experience. Even though we are a storage site, and storage is a commodity, like we don't really want to drive revenue by accounts having more storage. It makes sense to like remove duplicates. Let's clean everything out. We want to drive our revenue through solutions, features, and functionalities that we're delivering to the customer. That's kind of how we see the value that we can add. And lastly, on that AI question, we believe that we are one of the most relevant players in the AI market because of the content we have on our platform and our ability to help leaders in the AI space train their models and evolve. So that's one of the big things we're working on right now, is figuring out how we can leverage the content on our platform to help other AI companies train their models and continue to evolve so we can continue to invest in our product over time.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the duplicate thing, though. It's funny, isn't it, that no matter where we go, what we're doing, we've got used to taking 10, 15 photos of one particular moment or memory and then going through and deleting the ones that we don't want. But usually that's on an airplane ride 6 months later or something. It is a bit of a big problem, isn't it?
I mean, there's so much you can do with the duplicates. It comes down to, photos are not just memories, right? We use them as utility to remember where, hey, we parked the car and everything like that. So how do we clean up that digital mess that we're creating for ourselves? That's kind of one of the biggest nuts I think we can crack.
And I suppose that brings us up to group buckets. I was reading about this before you came on. So can you tell me a little bit more about the concept behind that and also how that feature enhances photo sharing and collaboration within different communities? Because although it's a new system here, leveraging new technology, it feels like still going back to your roots, because that's what you were always all about, isn't it? That collaboration and bringing different communities together.
Yeah, I'd say the big difference that we're tackling right now is doing it in sort of a privacy-centric, privacy-first manner. But let's go back to the kind of root of it. There's a big problem with sharing memories right now that many people don't realize. So Neil, think back to the last time someone shared a photo with you and others in a group text, right? Think about when that happened.
Yeah.
And what did you do with that photo?
Well, there's so many from WhatsApp. Is a big killer on that one. And I'm horrified by some of the images that I find in there somewhere that I've long forgotten about. And
Right. It's kind of a point-in-time reflection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So there's not a preservation component to it, right? It's one of those things of like, oh, wow, that was really cool. Now let me get back to what I'm doing. So right now, most sharing within groups results in a point-in-time reflection, like we just talked about. Rarely is the memory preserved. They certainly aren't aggregated, and these memories quickly get lost. I also argue that with group buckets, we're missing out on a lot. Like my kids are both active in sports, and I think about either being at a ski venue or being on the sidelines, and all the other parents that are taking pictures. What am I missing out on? So there's a lot to unpack here. Group buckets not only simplifies how you engage, collaborate, and share. It transforms into a two-way exchange where you and others share photo and video memories back and forth. So it really draws everyone closer within that group itself. what we're trying to do is with group buckets is really make sharing the emotional experience it should be. And that is kind of the core task here, in that creating a safe and secure kind of gated group of people with common interests, whether it's youth sports, whether it's a wedding, whether it's friends and family. There are so many segments that we can tap into. Being able to preserve, to reflect, and do more with those memories, and also kind of capture more memories holistically. Like, that is the intent behind group buckets, and we're really, really excited about this product.
And I would imagine a lot of users that are turning to Photobucket to preserve memories and share with people around the world, they don't trust a lot of those big tech companies and social media companies, and privacy and security are going to be top of mind for those. So how do you ensure that data remains safe, that memories are effectively maintained, and get that balance or that need for a balance between security and seamless collaboration and sharing? It's quite a fine and tricky balance, I would imagine.
Totally. And it's one of the most frustrating things that I have to deal with as the CEO of this company, because what I want to do is I want to continue to enhance the product. I want to deliver features and functionality that are really visible to our customers. So it's frustrating at times because ensuring the security, ensuring the safety, all that work really takes resources away from the concept of like building more features and enhancing the functionality for customers. So we're always enhancing our architecture and our backend stack and other aspects of the site to ensure that safety and security. And we're doing it sort of in combination with, trying to have a balanced parallel between what we're delivering for the customer and everything like that. So much like most tech companies out there, big and small, we operate in a well-known cloud environment with multiple redundancies. So, we pick good partners and we make sure we have a lot of redundancies out there in addition to, the engineering that we put into the product itself. In 2020, we moved to a private first solution. So we talked about what Photobucket was before. And up until 2020, actually every single photo that was uploaded to Photobucket had a label of a public label, meaning it was uploaded for public sharing. And really until 2020, Photobucket was kind of a search engine for images. And at that point in time, we took a step back and we said, every new upload going forward needs to have a private label. Let's remove this search bar. Let's make this a paywall. Let's make this, kind of username, password to log into the account. Let's really enhance the privacy here. And, making sure that, we focus on preservation, security, and everything like that. So as we continue to evolve, so will our privacy first approach to customers' data and content.
And of course, here in 2024, it is an increasingly crowded digital media space. And for people listening all around the world, maybe they've got fond memories and have accounts with Photobucket. What would you say distinguishes Photobucket from competitors now in 2024? And what makes it a platform of choice for so many users? I'd love to hear a bit of feedback on what you're seeing here and who your users are.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll touch on this more throughout the podcast, but yeah, we operate in a fragmented space, right? With big players. We are not a bolt-on to a core offering.
Yeah.
And let's just call it what it is. Apple sells computers, they sell phones, they sell iPads, and they have a bolt-on iCloud solution really that gives their customers access to photos across their hardware ecosystem. Google, they are an advertising company, like they are the Yellow Pages of the internet, right? That 85+% of their revenue comes from advertising. Yeah. So Google Photos is not a core offering of those. Photos and videos are our core offering. From a mission perspective, we are the caretakers of your memories. And our core tenets kind of resonate around us being focused on photos and videos, centralization being the first one. past, present, and future all in one place. Like think of Photobucket as the aggregator, regardless of the type of hardware or, digital solutions that you use. We're agnostic. So everything can be centralized within Photobucket. And again, past memories, present memories, future memories. Community, we're trusted by over 70 million people. We take a collaborative approach to the product, and we truly share a passion around memories, being that it's our core focus. Reliable preservation, our third core tenet, focused on original quality of content. Like we are one of the few that preserves original quality of photos and videos when they're uploaded. Safe, secure, and guaranteed. We've been around for a really long time, which gets into our fourth tenet of a lifelong commitment. 20 plus years dedicated to sustainable, and what I think is really, really important and love about the company that not a lot of people know is carbon neutral memory management. So, we want to be good stewards of our planet here, and we're focused on carbon neutral memory management in a tech space that gobbles up a lot of energy. So I think it's pretty cool that we've said, we're here. We've been here for 2 decades. We're going to continue to stay in the space, and we're going to do so in a positive way, if that makes sense.
It really does. And I think we've got to bring the trust thing back into this as well, because we don't have to look too far back from when we saw what happened with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. And there was also, I think, there's something like 1 billion pictures that were taken and used to train one of the big tech's AI there. And especially when an age of facial recognition and things, trust and security is increasingly becoming paramount. I don't think we knew the scale of it back then and what it could impact now. But I think when we're getting used to the difference AI is making in the world and the impact it's having, it really is, it's table stakes now, isn't it?
We're certainly learning more and more. And I think, technology evolves, the way technology is used evolves, and customers' understanding evolves. And I think, it probably comes down to a generational spectrum. So each generation has a unique spectrum as to, their degree of risk or their degree of willingness to kind of like, accept what's going to happen. But, at the end of the day, we see ourselves as a small, independent photo and video solution, digital photo and video solution. How can we differentiate ourselves? Is by making a commitment to our customers that we're not going to sell your data. We're not going to step on your toes. Like, this is a safe spot to share photos. It's really interesting because we kind of operate in 2 different landscapes, right? Where we switched this model to a privacy first model in 2020, but prior to that, I mean, it was a public first model. So we're kind of hovering on both sides of the fence, if that makes sense. But we're treating the commitments that we've made to those that are uploading images in a privacy first manner. We are certainly committed to maintaining that privacy and trust of those customers.
And as we said earlier in our conversation, that evolution does continue. And considering not just the evolving technologies, but also user behavior as well and what they expect, what are the future opportunities and challenges as well that you foresee for Photobucket, especially considering everything that you're seeing around you? It must be both exciting and daunting at the same time sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just tackle the challenges first. Obviously, there's increasing competition through innovation. This is not unique to us. Every single company faces increasing competition through innovation. Photos and videos have been more of an afterthought, but at this point in time, we're seeing more focus in the area. I mean, just look at Marissa Mayer, right? She just launched a group photo solution with her company and everything like that. So we're seeing more of a focus in the photo and video space, and we need to make sure that we don't get complacent and fall back. Number 2, battling in a fragmented landscape. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but we're playing in a saturated market with 2 giant leaders, and that's really, really challenging. So we need to continue to think creatively on how we can differentiate ourselves from the independents and truly be the and to Apple and Google, not the or. Like, we are not a competitor to Apple and Google. We will never be able to compete with them directly. So what can we do to be a complementary offering to what they have pre-installed on every single smartphone? And then I think number 3 is recruiting and retaining technology talent without being at the forefront of innovation. So there's a lot of sexy tech out there now, and new things seem to cycle in tech every 24 to 36 months, right? We're not an R&D shop. We're kind of a middle of the fairway, 220 yards off the tee box. It's not mind-blowing, but it's really efficient and effective. So making sure we recruit good talent and retain that good talent in this evolving tech cycle when we're not keeping pace with, the forefront of innovation. Those are kind of the three biggest challenges. From my perspective, as we roll into the future opportunities, we operate in multiple verticals with a combined TAM of over $20 billion. So we're really excited. And that's one of the things that we've been pretty strategic about, in the sense of like, how do we build product offerings to maximize our total addressable market in terms of the amount of money that's being spent? So again, like multiple verticals and a TAM of over $20 billion. Specifically from a future opportunity perspective, we touched on group buckets, right? This solves a problem in the market. And if we do this right, it can lead to really inexpensive growth through the network effect. Like there's no question about that. And then it unites masses, and it gives us an opportunity to highlight other aspects of our product to a new audience. So we really, really hot on group buckets. We think that's a really amazing kind of near-term future opportunity for us, launching in July to the masses. Number two, expanding the spectrum. So the way I explain this is going left and right to add services. Right now, we're a digital preservation site. If we go down the left side of the spectrum, we're integrating digitization functionality. So you can take all the old prints from way back when, have those digitized, and then uploaded onto Photobucket to share with friends and family. And then on the right side of that spectrum, we really need to expand our print offering. The print and merchandising business is like a $10 billion market, and we're certainly underutilizing the print functionality on our site. So expanding the spectrum goes left to digitization and goes right to expanding print functionality while focusing, the majority of our investment on that core digital product. And then number three, it's positioning ourselves to be opportunistic, whether it's IP that we've had over the years or content and using content to license content for AI training. We always need to be thinking about the long game. And that's a challenge in the moment when you're kind of thinking about what we need to do now, but we've been really focused on the long game. It would have been really easy when the company was struggling financially to say, hey, of these 13 billion images, 75% of them are from accounts that haven't been touched in 5 years. We could probably deprecate those and get rid of them, but we chose not to. We made a commitment to the customer base that we will not delete images. And that has put us in a position to be opportunistic, specifically around AI.
Well, kudos to you and for all the work that you're doing. And if I was to zoom out for a moment, I feel compelled to say the old line from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, you're the caretaker of more than 13 billion images. Do you feel that responsibility at Photobucket towards creators and users in protecting and preserving their digital memories? Does it keep you awake at night?
Neil, we certainly don't take this responsibility lightly.
Yeah.
And I've had to deal with this responsibility in different aspects of the business. So when the company was struggling financially, we found a way to continue to store all of these memories, which is incredibly expensive, but we made that commitment. Like we just touched on that. Our focus was to stabilize the business so that it stood on its own without the need for continuous capital. This proved to be smart because VC funding pulled back significantly in 2022. So what I'm getting at here is that we have always made decisions in an effort to be true caretakers of memories. And the big thing with having 13 billion images on the site that date back over 20 years is customers don't need them until they need them. So we want to ensure that those memories are there when our customers need them the most. And as we think about our relationship with our customers, we want to continue to build trust, deliver an improving customer experience, and foster a community of creativity that positions Photobucket as the most dynamic and reliable preservation solution on the market.
Absolutely love that. And I think it's a perfect moment to end on. But before I let you go, you've shared your insights with everyone. I'd like you to leave everyone listening with one final gift. And that is a book that we can add to our Amazon wish list that you'd recommend everyone check out, or maybe a song that we can add to our Spotify playlist. Guilty pleasures are allowed. But what would you like to leave and why?
You know, I have to leave a song. So I did my research, and you've got an amazing playlist of songs there, but it's not complete yet.
Oh.
It's not complete. It's missing one of the greatest bands of all time, maybe one of the greatest musicians of all time. So while this isn't my favorite song, I think this helps complete the playlist and will help it evolve. I want to put on the song Deal, written originally by Jerry Garcia, but performed by the Grateful Dead a lot in the 70s. So Deal by the Grateful Dead. And it's a great song about gambling. And I think, you know, at the core, while I'm not a Vegas gambler or a card player, as business operators, we have to make bets all the time. And the opening line there is, it costs a lot to win and even more to lose. So it really resonates on all the decisions that we have to make on a daily basis as we run a company. While we have a lot of data backing these bets that we're making, they're still bets, and we want to make sure that we win more than we lose. So why don't you throw Deal on there by the Grateful Dead to complete that list?
Consider it done, my friend. I'm shockingly embarrassed that there is no Grateful Dead on that list. I'm going to blame my guest for not suggesting it. So.
Yeah, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But they're on there now.
They will be on there by the time we finish recording this episode. And for anyone listening wanting to find out more information about Photobucket, maybe they want to connect with you or your team, where would you like to direct everyone?
Yeah, you know, first and foremost, our site, great content there, photobucket.com. All the products we offer have a 7-day free trial. Check out Group Buckets. It is going to solve a lot of problems for you all. I promise you. And July is kind of the launch for that. Follow us on social, all the social channels and everything like that. And you know, drop us a line. We're a very responsive group of folks. We're all humans. None of it is done automatically. Drop us a line and tell us how we're doing. We love feedback on how we can get better and how we can enhance the experience over time. So, website, social media, and you know, through our member engagement team.
Well, I'll have links to everything so people can find you nice and easily. As a user, I've been part of your journey since those early MySpace days. And I think it's inspiring that just how much you've evolved and adapted and come through some major digital disruptions, from the arrival of social media, cloud storage, and now, of course, AI, and you're still rocking it. So just a big thank you for sharing that story and also solving an even bigger problem, and that is getting the Grateful Dead song on our playlist. So thanks for that too.
Yeah, Neil, thanks so much. This was wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Wow, what an incredibly cool guy. I just loved exploring with Ted the impressive legacy of Photobucket and their innovative approaches to photo sharing and AI technologies, from those humble beginnings as a simple hosting service to becoming a leader in the digital preservation of memories, and how Photobucket has adapted along the way, continues to adapt and evolve and thrive in this ever-evolving tech landscape. And as we close today, I invite you to think about the memories you cherish and the digital legacy that you might be creating along the way. How do you see AI impacting your ability to preserve and share those moments? Please join the conversation, share your thoughts, email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram @NeilCHughes. Love to hear your thoughts on this one. It's something that we've all got many stories to share on, I'm sure, whether it be creating those MySpace pages back in the day to how you manage your digital images now. So it's been a pleasure having Ted on the show, and to you listening, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Tech Talks Daily. I know you've got a lot of choice out there, and I really appreciate the fact that you tune into this show, and hopefully you'll join me again tomorrow. I've got another incredible guest lined up, but other than that, thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.